let's start off with a little math equation. What is 10% of 0? Don't worry, I'll give you a second to do all the math that you got to do. I'll do it over here as well. 10% of 0. Oh! 0! If you're an actor, voice actor, model, musician, fire breather, this is the reason why you need a manager and how to get one. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul Castro Jr. here, and while I got you by the gills, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that Liberty Bell so you know when more videos are coming in hot. All right, let's get to it. So unlike agents whose primary job is to find performers work, a manager's job is, you probably guessed it, is to manage somebody's career or manage talent. Although that's not entirely exclusive to the job now, there are certain managers who do other things, and we'll get into that. But managers are there primarily to manage you. And as a disclaimer to this video, I'm not a manager, never have been, never will be. I'm just an actor who has had multiple managers in my career and a lot of experience with dealing with them, switching management companies, switching managers, finding managers, so take from it what you will, with many grains of salt. Not everybody who's a performer has friends or family or people that they know who are in the business, who work in entertainment, whether as actors, casting directors, producers, whatever. And while most people know the term an agent, like an acting agent or their agency in terms of getting people work or finding acting jobs, agents by and large, their job is to bring their agency income. And yes, we hope the best from our agents and that they have personal best interests. At the end of the day, their bosses are their agency, as well as you, but really their agency. Now, this is where the difference between an agent and a personal manager comes in, because a manager, more often than not, unless they're working for a management company, is working for themselves. And typically, a personal manager will have a small number of clients that they're focusing on, whereas a agency, or specifically a personal agent, can sometimes have hundreds. This means that a personal manager can help focus on the specific talent and see the forest through the trees and help create a plan for that person's career. The manager's job is to listen to the talent's goals and help make them a reality. Whereas with an agent, their primary function is going to be to find the jobs. Now, yes, there are certain things called boutique agencies which function very similar to how a personal manager would, but still, an agent at the end of the day, their primary focus is going to be on negotiating deals, taking meetings, communicating with producers and casting directors, and a lot more business-related stuff, which means that leaves a very small amount of time for them to be working one-on-one with clients. You'd be very hard-pressed at a very large agency to find an agent who's going to be speaking with every one of their clients every day and making all of their informed career decisions that have nothing to do with actual jobs. Enter manager. A manager, if you have a good one, they shouldn't have a large amount of clients, which means that they are accessible. This should be somebody who you can get on the phone and discuss with them your life, your dreams, your goals, your pursuits, your diet, maybe not your diet, but you get what I'm saying here. These are the people who are going to help you actually create a career, something that is long-term. Now, many people are scared of getting a manager because they're like, I'm already giving 10% to my agent. Why do I want to give 10% to somebody else? And I totally understand that caution. And you have to be able to evaluate your career individually to see if one is right for you. But for most people starting out, like I said in the beginning of this video, if you ain't booking any jobs, there's not any theoretical money to worry about just yet. Just make sure you don't get into some sort of deal with this manager saying that, 50 years from now, you still owe them royalties on some episode of The Bold and the Beautiful that you do. Now, let's really break down the benefits of what a manager can do for you. If you're just starting out in the industry, which means you're probably just getting out of school, you don't have much experience, a manager is somebody who can be a mentor to you. They can be somebody who's informing you of things you should be doing, acting classes you should be taking, casting directors you should be meeting with, the types of headshots you should have, deciding between headshots, setting up your casting profiles, helping you choose which scenes are best in your demo reel, stopping you from changing your name or cutting your hair irrationally. They can be like a parent for you to bounce your ideas off of. Ask you questions like, where do you want to be be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Like for instance, if you can't sing to save your life, they're not going to be pushing you to do all this theater. They'd rather focus the stuff on the TV dramas, co-stars, and guest stars. These are the type of people who can help keep track of your booking quotes so you know how much money you should be getting paid on the project. Presumably, you want that number to go up later in life. Now, if you're a smart cookie and you've got your hand on the pulse of things that are actually going down, whether that's on the breakdowns or from word of mouth from friends, and you see something or you hear about something that you know you would be perfect for, or maybe you've worked with somebody on the project, you know the director or the producer. Like let's say for instance, they're casting the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you are an expert martial artist, you're proficient in nunchaku, you love pizza, and you look like a turtle. This is a true story based off me, yes, and I got an audition, but no, I didn't get the part. If you're an unknown, casting probably doesn't know this stuff about you. And it's your job to keep up with this stuff and know that nobody's gonna work harder for you than you. But if you have a manager, you can communicate this to them and then they can do a push to these casting offices with that information. See, something like that is the kind of perfect storm risk that a manager would love to take and casting offices will welcome because you're then solving a problem that they have. You know, they're not going to waste an audition slot on somebody who doesn't have a proven track record and consistency and know that they throw them into this huge movie or project, they're going to be reliable. And that's why if you have a manager who knows you really well, they might say, hey, Paul, I know you're a master at the Chucks, dude. I think you'd be perfect for this project. And I'm going to be like, heck yeah, let's get me an audition. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm emailing the casting director right now. And I'm like, great, where's the audition? He's like, it's right here, you idiot. Now, moving on, later in your career, you're going to be faced with harder decisions or circumstances you might have to make choices for. You might have to choose between multiple projects, or you might come into a circumstance where you're sick or you're dealing with some sort of set complication. Again, these are things that a manager can help communicate to the right people. They can be the bad guy in facilitating any kind of communication you might not want to have. Because remember, you're the actor. You want to be focused on the artistic side of things, and you want someone specifically dealing with the business side. Now, an agent might be able to do some of this stuff, but they're not going to be doing this on a personal level because they just have so many clients. Now, finding the right manager can sometimes be a very cumbersome task. Now, I'm not telling you to go hire your mom or your best friend like E from Entourage.
Well, give me your card. I'll give you a call.
You know what? I don't have a card.
You want somebody who knows what they're doing. Somebody who has experience. Maybe they've worked for an agency before, and now they're just branching off to do their own thing. Now, this is important because they're going to have the contacts and the experience and, frankly, people who are going to actually answer their calls. And they're going to trust this person's word. If you're new and starting out in the business, you need people to vouch for you. And what's better than one person, let's say your agent looking for work, also having a manager is only going to help you starting out. So let's say you don't even have an agent. That's where a manager can help facilitate those meetings once you're ready. Now, the biggest complaint I hear from people is, how am I supposed to get an agent if you need an agent to find work and you can't get work if you don't have an agent? I get it. It's crazy. It's backwards. But that's what managers are great for. They'll know about indie projects you should be working on, the MFA programs you should be doing student films for, a company that produces demo reels so you'll actually have footage of you on camera, or like a voiceover demo producer who can help make a killer reel even if you don't have any work done yet. The next video I'm going to be making is going to be specifically on how to get an agent, but most of those principles are going to be applicable to managers. But I'm going to touch upon it a little here because I want to give you something to work with. I'm going to say my top 3 best ways of getting a manager is going to be either by doing a showcase, a workshop, or by a referral. Whether that's you going to an acting school that has a showcase at the end of the year, or you've gone to a workshop where the casting director is teaching an intensive for 4 weeks. Now, I'm not saying you should take these workshops with the anticipation of getting a manager. They are there to teach you, but if you are that good, they're going to remember you. Most people just don't exhaust their resources and they give up by saying, I don't know anybody. And I guarantee if you live in LA, you know some dude who works at the pizza shop who was a child star. So now, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I want to talk about how the managers and agents can have some crossover. So obviously, if you're starting out, you don't have a lot of cred, you're gonna need to find some work to establish yourself, right? That's why nowadays, when you think of a manager, you think of that person who's, managing your schedule, your day-to-day, setting up meetings. But a lot of managers nowadays are also working as somewhat agents. They're finding work because they have relationships with casting directors, and they're submitting their clients through Actors Access or Backstage or the breakdowns, however they get these projects to them. When I was starting out, I was actually getting more auditions from my manager than I was from my agent because they knew me, they knew what was right for me, and I was the only person of my type on their their roster. Whereas at my agency, there was about 10 of me, so if they only had 3 audition slots to send from that agency, I may or may not have got that slot, but I was 100% getting it from my manager. So while largely the benefits I believe are from how they can help facilitate your career, make your dreams and goals a reality, put you on the right path, and create a plan that you will be happy with in your career, you want a manager who's going to be looking out for you and what you want to do. Whether that means applying the philosophy one for me, one for them, or strictly sticking to your guns and doing the artistic projects that you feel are most fulfilling. So I hope that informed y'all on why you guys need to go out right now and get yourselves a manager. If you aren't already, subscribe to IMDb Pro. You can search by management companies and you can see the top lists of the people in your area. So if you're not in New York or LA, you can see if there's a management company in Toronto, who they represent, and if you'd be a right fit for their roster. Guys, it has been a sincere pleasure serving you as an ambassador to helping artists. It is all of our responsibilities as artists to help one another, and that's why I love sharing this information with you. So let me know in the comments if you thought this video was helpful, or maybe what you want to see next, what I should talk about, acting, voice acting, producing, directing, I don't know, something I've done that you think I might have some value with. And lastly, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Much love to you all, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.